Well, welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Steve Mincy. I'm with DES Architects and Engineers, and I am the chair of the board of directors of the San Mateo County Economic Development Association, or SAMCEDA, and that's why we call it SAMCEDA. So, on behalf of the organization, our board, and our president and CEO, Roseanne Faust, welcome to the 2012 Awards of Excellence. This is honoring San Mateo County's companies for their innovation and entrepreneurship. Well, we have a great program for you today that includes a distinguished group of award recipients, including the Ruth Peterson, who will be this year's David D. Bohannon Award recipient, and who will be represented here today by her son, Dan Peterson. And we also are honored today that Congresswoman Eshoo, a member of the U.S. House of Representatives and ranking member of the Subcommittee on Communications and Technology, is with us today as our keynote speaker. In addition, we are so pleased that we have a special interview with Weili, the co-founder of Marvell Technology Group. So, as you can probably gather by the name of the event, this program that we have for you today is all about shining a light on innovation that is happening locally right here in San Mateo County. Now, there's a lot of moving parts to this county. You know, there's obviously business and government, special districts, educational entities. We have some big infrastructure issues to deal with here in the county. And we have nearly 1,000 nonprofits and charities that are serving populations that have a little voice and almost no visibility. So it's really important that people in business and businesses get involved in our local community. And by being active participants in the community, just as you are doing here today, makes all the difference in the world by kind of getting out and actually seeing what's going on in our county. So let's start this off today by thanking our corporate sponsors who have contributed to getting us out of our normal routine and here today and taking a look at our county and some of the innovation that's going on here in the county. So hold your applause to the end, but here are all the companies that have contributed to today. Bay Meadows Land Company, BKF Engineers, Bohannon Development Hillsdale Shopping Center, Cargill and Redwood City Salt Works, County of San Mateo, DES Architects and Engineers, Embarcadero Capital Partners, Hanson Bridget, Hartnett Smith and Pateco, Kaiser Permanente, Oracle, PG&E, Recology, San Francisco International Airport, San Mateo Credit Union, Sequoia Hospital, a Dignity Health member, Seton Medical Center in Seton Coast Side, Urban Housing Group, and Wells Fargo. Thanks to our sponsors today. Additionally today, our media sponsor is the San Francisco Business Times, and they've been a great partner on many events with us, so a big warm thank you to those folks as well. Also, just wanted to point out that we're being filmed today by Peninsula TV, Channel 26, so it's nice to have that type of exposure recurring, not just for today, but on television again. So also, I would like to thank our board of directors. Now, these folks represent a lot of diverse businesses, both large and small, and they contribute to the vibrancy of this peninsula. It's an extraordinary group of individuals who directly represent the membership of SAMCEDA. And I have the pleasure of working with these folks, and believe me, they're very dedicated to making SAMCEDA a success. So could I ask all the SAMCEDA Board of Directors to please stand and be recognized? And I would like a special thank you to our board member, Randy Smith of the Oracle Corporation, for the use of this wonderful facility. Randy, are you here today? There he is over there. Thank you, Randy. Well, another one of the hallmarks of this great county is the way in which businesses and our local governments closely work together to maintain both the quality life and deal with the issues that are vitally important to business. So let's recognize the elected officials that are here today. And with this full agenda that we have, I know you're probably expecting me to say, hold your applause to the end. But quite the contrary. These folks have given up, taken time out of their schedule, and they're here to engage in this type of celebration of business. And I think that it's important that we recognize them. Also, as you know, we're in an election year, and there's a number of interesting races here in the county. And so I'm sure these folks are going to appreciate a chance to be able to stand. We can see who they are and get familiar with them. And, you know, they'll be the first ones to say that they really do welcome input from you. And so the issues that are important to you need to be talked about with them. So without further ado, our local elected officials that are here today, California State Senator Leland Yee, not here, but maybe we'll see him in a bit. California State Assembly member Jerry Hill. Jerry, are you here? Well, their schedules are busier than I thought they were. President of the San Mateo Board of Supervisors, I did see Adrienne Tissier here earlier, so Adrienne. And also San Mateo County Supervisor Carol Groom. Is she here? A representative. Ann Campbell, Superintendent of the San Mateo County Office of Education. How about Mayor Jerry Deal from the city of Burlingame? Mayor Kirsten Keith, city of Menlo Park. There's Kirsten. Council member Barbara Pierce of Redwood City. Council member Jeff Ira of Redwood City. Council member Ian Bain of Redwood City. Councilmember Carol Matsumoto from the city of South San Francisco. And Councilmember Kevin Mullen from the city of South San Francisco. Councilmember Ken Ibarra from the city of San Bruno. Councilmember Dave Canepa from Daly City. Councilmember Robert Ross from the city of San Mateo, all the way in the back. And then Councilmember Pam Frisella from Foster City. Councilmember Mark Olbert from the city of San Carlos. Shelley Masur, a trustee with the Redwood City School District. Shelley, all the way in the back. And of course, our own Councilmember Roseanne Faust from the city of Redwood City. Now, I know I've missed some folks, so if I miss someone, please have the person next to you stand up and... Hello, Don Horsley, and... Wonderful. Welcome, Art. And I see Jerry Hill came in the back there, so a round of applause for Jerry having gotten. Good deal. Well, you know, a number of the award recipients today will be receiving some great certificates and proclamations from the offices of Congresswoman Anna Eshoo, from Congresswoman Jackie Spear, from State Senator Joe Simidian, and from Assembly members Jerry Hill and Rich Gordon, and from the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors President Adrienne Tissier and her colleagues. So thank you to all of you for these great proclamations and certificates for our award recipients. Okay, well, let's get on with the program today. So it is my pleasure to introduce Roseanne Faust, the President and Chief Executive Officer of SAMCEDA.
Good afternoon. How is everyone? It's going to be a terrific program, so thank you. I wanted to start by just having you give yourselves a round of applause for being here and being part of the best county in California. So let me tell you a little bit about our program today. For over a half a century, SAMCEDA has been an advocate for the business community on the peninsula. We listen to the collective voices and the views of business and go to work on the issues that affect all of us in this region. We work to involve member businesses, individuals, civic leaders, nonprofits, educational institutions, in a collaborative effort with local, regional, and state officials. We're committed to building partnerships and continuing our involvement in the areas of business and economic development. We're proud to be one of the 14 co-sponsors of the event next Friday at Marvell. Thank you very much, Weili, for hosting that economic summit. The results of the summits that are being held throughout California will feed into the Governor's Summit, which is May 11th. We're happy to be a part of the transportation issues, especially the electrification of Caltrain and how that is going to lead to the future of high-speed rail on the peninsula. As a part of the Bay Area Business Coalition, which are the partner organizations with SAMCEDA, our collective work shapes the initial vision scenarios that are coming out of MTC and ABAG that result in the implementation of SB 375 and AB 32. So why does SAMCEDA exist? Because I said when I started this that San Mateo County is a great county. And why are we celebrating innovation today? Because recognizing these innovators whose actions and examples serve as a model for us for the best practices, both in business and in life, we are inspired and encouraged to strive for even greater things. Innovation is a fundamental pillar of our county's economy, and we are working to ensure that it continues to be an economic priority for both private and public stakeholders, whose investment, management, and support infrastructure create and sustain our competitive business climate. That's all you hear, folks, lately. Economic development, competitiveness, innovation. What makes the Bay Area so unique and what makes San Mateo County so unique? It's the companies that you will see receive their awards later this afternoon. Take a look around you. Just take a moment and look at the folks at your table and those of the other tables. We are so proud to bring together the best of the best. We believe that by coming together, by working together, and by leveraging our collective strength, we can continue to meet the challenges head-on of today and set this county on a course for continued success in the future. So I invite all of you to join us. Join us and be a partner as we go forward and continue to make this county what it is today and what it can be in the future. So now it gives me absolutely great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Anna Eshoo. I'm going to tell you let's have a round of applause. When you think about how you want to introduce someone like this, so many things run through your mind, because you can go on her website, which is fabulous, by the way, and you can find out about Congresswoman Eshoo's history, that she served 10 years on the Board of Supervisors, that she's been a member of the U.S. House of Representatives since 1993. In addition to what you have in the program, and there's a bio in there, Congresswoman Eshoo also co-chairs the Congressional Internet Caucus, the E911 Caucus, and the House Metal Technology Caucus. Between 2002 and 2010, Representative Eshoo served on the House Permanent and Select Committee on Intelligence. She kept track of our intelligence agencies and made sure that they ran efficiently and effectively. She has authored legislation to protect both our national security and our civil liberties. During her time in Congress, she has shaped many pieces of legislation, creating the use of electronic signatures, making legally binding digital documents possible, securing funding for broadband deployment, health information technology, research, and education. But folks, in today's world, politicians are not held in the highest regard, and that is tremendously unfortunate, because it's not the good that they do every single day that makes the news. I want to share with you just one example of the good, and I can feel myself getting goosebumps as I start to tell you what Congresswoman Eshoo did. In January, I had the privilege of being in a hangar at Moffett Airfield, where Carl E. Clark received the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal with Combat Distinguishing Device from the Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus. Mr. Clark is 95 years old, and this medal was awarded 66 years after the Battle of Okinawa, in which he saved his ship. His bravery and heroism was not recorded at the time because Mr. Clark was black. Sheila Dunnick, Foothill College professor, brought this to Congresswoman Eshoo's attention, and for over 2 years she worked to have the Navy recognize Mr. Clark. It is her commitment to her constituents, to her family, and to her community that make Congresswoman Eshoo who she is, and for that, we are absolutely honored to have her as our keynote today.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here, and Roseanne, thank you for your very, very generous remarks. Whenever I hear someone introducing me, I always wish that my kids were in the room. So you were very, very generous, and thank you for inviting me to be here today with you. It's a great honor as you celebrate the Innovators. And we're in I know that I'm in great company, and I think everyone else does as well. So to the officers and the directors of SAMCEDA, I have to tell you that early this morning, I was thinking about Bud Bostwick. I don't know how many of you remember him, but if you do, raise your hand. He was the voice of SAMCEDA many, many, many years ago, and one of the fathers of the organization, and he helped to keep the organization together and to move it forward. And Roseanne, thank you for your extraordinary leadership and what you're doing today. I know that Bud would really be very proud. Of course, to the distinguished honorees, to all of my friends that are here, and thank you for naming all of the elected officials that are here today, my colleagues in public service. So now I'm not going to name them all, but they're all important, and the work that they do and the partnerships that we have with one another are really essential so that we can act together not separately, but together on behalf of our mutual constituents. It's great to be at ground zero of the economic recovery, and again, it's great to be here with you. I not only get to represent what is called the most distinguished congressional district in the nation, because it is the home of innovation. This is a place that is known across our country, admired around the world. Anywhere I've been, in any country, small, medium, or large, with fellow parliamentarians, with kings, with prime ministers, with whomever it might be, when they know that of the district that I represent, they nod. So everyone around the world knows where we are, who we are, and what we are about. And today, it's really appropriate that we're celebrating the creativity and the drive and the inventiveness and the accomplishments of some of the most gifted people in our region. People who are leading the nation to more solid economic ground and more sure financial footing. At every table, it says Innovators on the card. This is in the DNA of the American people, of our great nation. When you think of the framers, of the founders of our country, they were the original innovators of the nation. And so this is part of our heritage. And if there's a region that takes it seriously, celebrates it, and continues to reinvent it, it is here. And that's why I think today is really exciting. And each one of you that are being honored, I think are amazing. You're adding thousands of jobs to the Bay Area economy, driving the unemployment rate down toward 7%. Now, we're not ever satisfied as Americans with the status quo. And 7%, maybe X number of years ago, we wouldn't be celebrating. But this is a distinguished figure in the country. Boosting home sales nearly 11% last month. And your ingenuity and your vision are the reason that 27% of all capital venture funds in the country are invested here. So I applaud you. I congratulate you. And I say, enjoy the moment. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today, making the most of this moment to ensure that you're continued, that there is continued prosperity and that you be able to continue it. SAMCEDA not only survives and thrives because it's never been just about business. Your core message, business is good and business brings opportunity, carries a very special meaning as we climb out of the depth of this recession. For many people, your members are creating opportunities, and right now there's nothing better or more important than that. But if we're lucky and the positive trend continues, you'll soon be engaged in much more. In the not-too-distant future, you'll be figuring out where to build your next lab, how to launch your next product, and the dividends that will be paid as a result of it. And there are, as we all know, a multiplicity of dividends. And we all look forward to that day. But in this one moment, before you're fully engulfed once again by the success that is already your hallmark, take a moment and consider the opportunities that exist to elevate your game as corporate citizens. As you grow, you want to know that our airports, our trains, and our ports can move your people and your goods. You'll want to know, you'll want to expand knowing that you have a reliable and a predictable supply of power and water, and that a skilled and knowledgeable workforce is right outside your door. Where and how you grow will be all about making the most of our natural resources and our collective treasury. You want housing prices and recreational facilities that make it easy for you to compete for the finest minds in the world. You want high-quality K-12 schools that give you a competitive advantage in bringing those wonderful geniuses and their families right here. And I'll wager you want to continue to operate at the crossroads of two world-class universities. We've had many discussions, as you know, about your continuing prosperity and the community, and the communities are connected. That recognition is at the heart of SAMCEDA's success. Collaboration that includes understanding and respect for what the nonprofit community, government, and public institutions contribute to the private sector's ability to produce. I'm not suggesting that you have any more important obligation than to give your shareholders and employees a good return on their investment and labor. I am suggesting that your ability to do that is directly related to your willingness to be a fully invested partner in building the kind of community that supports your success. The old model of business weighing in on public decisions at the last minute is long gone. Today, we need your buy-in early and your best thinking. We also need you to expect and accept that those of us in government must balance your short-term need against the long-term community good, and that invariably you will benefit. This moment between slow and go in the economy should be used to raise the bar on our collaboration. Let's embrace the hard things we've put off. Let's plan improvements we need to safeguard what we've built and ensure that there will be more to celebrate in the future. High-speed rail is on that list, and we are today, at this moment, on the threshold of creating a 21st century Caltrain, the spine of our transportation system. This is a huge achievement, and I think that I am so excited about it that I can barely speak, because 8 months ago, 18 months ago, 3 years ago, maybe even 8 weeks ago, I often wondered when I went to bed at night whether we would get there or not. Adrienne Tissier, the president of the San Mateo County Board and the chairwoman of the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, certainly Mike Scanlon, who heads up our transportation agency here, have helped to bring us to this moment where next week votes will be cast, where a multiplicity of public agencies are going to see to it that the full funding for electrification of Caltrain will take place. That is a victory. That is a victory for our environment. It's a victory for employers. It's a victory for commuters. But it's a victory for the people in this region that have had a consistent vision amongst all of the difficulties and the issues that have been raised by people in the community. And it does take vision, and it takes a collective vision to make these things work. So thank you to each one of you that have been involved in this. I couldn't be prouder, and I know that future generations are going to say that something noble and good was done by this generation. On that list of things that we have to keep our eye on certainly is bay conservation, open space preservation, energy infrastructure, and always, 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 education is on the list. As the ranking member of the Subcommittee on Communications and Technology, that's a mouthful. It's the committee that I serve on. That's what it means. And I was elected last year to be the lead Democrat. And it took all of last year and the beginning of this year to oversee a really lengthy and complex process that resulted in something that you don't get to read about. It's not, the talking heads are not on it. No one is congratulated. But my purpose from the beginning with the Republican chairman of this subcommittee is to make America #1 in broadband. Not 14th, not 17th, not 24th in the world, but #1. This is essential for this country in the 21st century. And so that resulted in, great, thank you. It's resulted in the passage of a really historic piece of legislation that will make more spectrum available in our country. We know everything is moving to wireless, and that spectrum is the gold that is needed in order to launch all of that. And again, to make our country first. The legislation included unlicensed provisions, which I really fought hard for. Maybe some of you don't know what it is, but it represents a lot of money. A lot of money and a lot of jobs, and it's a platform for the innovators that may have a shop of 5, 7, 11, 17 people. And without that being protected, they simply would have to close the door, shut the lights off, and call it quits. We also finally heeded the 9/11 Commission's call for a nationwide, interoperable public safety network for our public safety people across our nation. That is a real achievement when we think back to that fateful day when neither fire or police could communicate with each other. Imagine that. They were in those buildings, but they couldn't communicate with one another. One can't help but think, if this were in place, what would have happened that day? So the unlicensed provisions that I championed, they really increase opportunities and jobs for new and innovative devices and services. All over the Valley, people told me that there are remarkable inventive uses of unlicensed spectrum, and as I said, the potential that it has to create so many more jobs in our country and to expand this very, very important part of our national economy. And the consumer benefits surpass $50 billion, with a B, dollars a year. Good results for everyone, built on solid information, thorough analysis, and an open and inclusive process, which drives a lot of people crazy because we can't do things the way the private sector does, where someone just takes a decision, takes it to their board, they do it, it's done. And those that will capitalize the idea. We have to, in my case, I've got to work with 750,000 people. How's that one? So that's the easy part. It's working with members of Congress that really just, But when we focus on a common goal and refuse to leave the table until we get it, we can really do amazing things. And that's what we're celebrating today. So as resources are available, let's be prepared with our top priorities. Let's have those conversations now. In every other way, our region is ahead of the proverbial curve. Let's get there on our public priorities as well. I'm really honored to celebrate with you today. In the spirit of the founders, of the framers, the original innovators, imagine the risks that they took and what they launched and the lasting quality of that and the timelessness of not only their vision, but also their leadership against all odds. And I think when you knit the two together, that we reappreciate who we are as a people, what we are as a nation, what we represent to the world, and that this corner of the world, San Mateo County, being part of Silicon Valley, is nothing short of extraordinary. But we can't rest on our laurels. There's too much that requires our collective attention. Let's get to it. You know that I'm your partner in it. Thank you for having me here today, and congratulations to the honorees. We're all so proud of you. Thank you.
All right, folks, I really think another round of applause for Congresswoman Eshoo. So what I'd like to do now is bring up an innovator. I'd like to bring up the co-founder of Marvell Technology Group, Weili Dai. We're going to have an interview with Weili.
Hello? Hello? Okay, great. Good afternoon. Well, first of all, before we start the interview, I am so amazed and so moved by our honorable Congresswoman Eshoo. What a brilliant woman leader. You know, I've been to so many of woman events and empowering women, and this is a perfect example to show that woman can lead the world or industry. And with this type of leader in our country, I'm even more hopeful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Weili, for being here with us today. And what we want to do for the audience, you're a leader. Your bio is in the program. If you Google Weili, and many of you in the room know I have a little fascination with Google, there is so many great things about this individual. Will you tell us about your background? Give the audience a flavor.
Well, first of all, I'm humbled. Thank you, Roseanne, for your kind words. But it's all about teamwork. I'm just one of the team players. Let me go all the way back to 32 years ago, maybe? I promise it won't be too long. So 32 years ago, this is where my family immigrated to the beautiful city, San Francisco. I was born in Shanghai, and when I came here, I almost spoke no English. And I'll give you an example what I mean by that. You know, for example, when I was in Shanghai, I learned very little English. It was a British system, so for example, you say thank you and don't mention it, right? So here, you know, people say thank you and you're welcome. So, but then, you know, I learned the British system. When I came here, my grandfather said, you know, Americans are so friendly. I said, wow, wonderful. So everywhere I go, I have noticed, I say, you know, when I say thank you, people say, you're welcome. You're welcome. I say, thank you, you're welcome. So when I got home, I got so excited. I told my grandfather, I said, everybody is so nice to me. I was welcomed. So this is just how much I know about English. But anyway, so my background is, you know, since I was little, I love two things, basketball and mathematics. So that's kind of a little bit background.
So what made you, okay, basketball and mathematics, how many in the room like basketball and mathematics? I mean, we're right in the middle of the sweet, I don't think we've gotten to the Sweet 16
Come on,
yet.
got to have more hands. If you don't like basketball, mathematics, at least basketball, because our President Obama plays basketball. Come on.
I think everyone should raise their hand. Okay, that's just a suggestion.
That's right.
Tell us why you decided to start Marvell.
Well, it's the passion. It's the teamwork. In fact, you know, I co-founded a company with my husband. It's about making difference. And, you know, I was so moved to listen to our Congresswoman Eshoo talk about the beautiful America. We lead the world in innovation, right? I mean, if you think about Silicon Valley, many people ask me, why is the Silicon Valley leading the world for technology? Why, you know, why is that? I said, it's the differentiated environment. It's the environment where we have the great leaders like our Congresswoman Eshoo. We have the environment where you got top schools like UC Berkeley, Stanford. You have top talents from US. And also, think about this 50 miles radius from San Francisco to San Jose, right? And by the way, San Mateo is the midpoint. This is why, a lot of energy. So you guys are the center point, right? So you got high-tech companies, you got great schools, you have research institutions such as Lawrence Research Lab, you got HP Lab, IBM Lab, and Xerox PARC. And at the same time, you have also the venture capitalists, in the Valley. So all this one-stop shop, and this is why if you see this, this is the center and lead, and it's been very successful. And this is type of the model I think we need to duplicate, across the U.S., and also it's a great example for the world as well. Now back to why I co-founded the company, because again, it's a teamwork. My husband and I we met at UC Berkeley when we were both students. I just saw the passion from him. Every day he talked about, oh, I wish I could go invent this. I wish I can push this product to improve the human's life and make consumer, life more efficient and this and wish that. And I told him, I said, great. We someday will start a company, but first is education. So I support him through PhD in 1995. That's when we were ready, and we started a company called Marvell. Today, we're top 3 fabulous semiconductor in the world. So if you use gadgets, most likely you have my technology inside.
So I know we have Stanford in the room. Do we have Cal? Do we have Cal graduates out there? Because Weili has 2 sons that one is an undergraduate at Cal and one is in the graduate program. And with your 2 sons and with the innovators that we have in the room, could you give them a little bit of advice on being an entrepreneur and an innovator? Give them a little slice of what they need to do.
Sure. Well, first of all, not to worry. Never been to a big game. I'm a basketball player. I love Stanford and Berkeley. I care about competition, so I think we all have the same mission to make the Valley even more successful. Now back to the recipe and this. I always tell people, just like when we started in 1995, you got to be ready, right? You have to have passion. Whatever you do, passion is a key. Commitment, responsibility, and hard work. I often tell people, at my 49th hour, this is what I do, play basketball. So what it means is that we work in such an environment where we got to have dedication, right? And we have to have a great principle. We have to focus on anything, our hard work need to turn it into great result. So these are really a very basic recipe. Then people say, wow, how did you do this? I say, well, it's my thanks to my parents. It's the upbringing. So any of us can contribute to the children. I'm very proud of my 2 sons. They really succeed themselves. But, what we do is, as a parents, provide great environment. The upbringing is a key for the success of any child, for their life.
Thank you. You have a very eclectic audience here today. You have people who are elected officials, you have business owners, you have large business, small business, you have people who work for municipalities, who work for other government agencies. How can we collectively really work together? I mean, both you and Congresswoman Eshoo have touched on hard work, on innovation, on passion. What could you say to this group that really will move the dial in today's environment?
So first of all, teamwork, okay, teamwork. Regardless what is the issue we have in a country, in the world, but we all should have a positive attitude, right? Because we need to make sure we have confidence. Anything you do in your life, there's always challenges. But overcoming challenge, work as a team is a key. And the other thing, I'm so happy to see this room, there are large population of female, and I also want to encourage everyone that today it is given, it is everybody, it's no more secret. women could lead our industry. I mean, look at the example of our lovely Congresswoman Eshoo. Listen to her speech and her capability. And she is a phenomenal government leader, and it's a woman, right? You can see a perfect example, right? And like many of innovators, all of you guys down there. So clearly, women can lead. But this is about teamwork. It's about how do we leverage the difference. There's a natural talent of woman, there's natural talent of man. It's not about she or he, it's about us. How do we leverage together so it's a 1 + 1 is a lot greater than 2 in terms of effectiveness, right? So if you think about the natural talent of a woman, in my organization, I think a part of the reason people say Marvell is successful, I think because we empower men and women start from the founding team. It's, you know, my husband and I, right? We teamwork together. Because women, think about this, what's our natural talent? We are very passionate about taking care of people. Is it right? I'm sure, because we as a mother, it's a natural talent where we have the passion. If we're involving in whatever industry we're in, we have this natural passion and also compassion, right? And we are caretakers. And so if we could add these natural talent and to support the capable men around us, and I think it could be a lot more effective. And I have a personal experience here, right?
So what do we think, ladies? And I'd like to hope the gentlemen will clap for that as well, okay? Because it is about teamwork. So we're going to be moving on to our Innovator Awards shortly and recognizing these 6 companies. But I have one closing question for Weili. But before I do that, I just want to suggest to her that if Marvell is ever looking to expand out of Santa Clara, San Mateo County, any of our 20 cities and the county are more than willing to welcome her, correct?
Thank you.
So just in closing, as a closing thought, could you share with us either someone or something or both that you are most proud of?
Well, you know, whenever people talk about someone, you know, my parents are dear to my heart. I think the upbringing, the foundation are really key for my success because, you know, the value system, so I breathe and practice, you know, the fair care, you know, the win-win, the, you know, all these principles every day, because this is absolutely very important. I think I would say my parents, yeah. And then one more piece I forgot to mention for your earlier question is how do we help, right, to make the country more successful and job creation? You know, my husband and I, we often talk about this. You know, we're driving a high-tech company, bleeding, leading-edge technology. But I'm looking at overall, for example, my company as an example, we're fabulous, which means manufacturing today are done outside U.S. So that kind of triggers our thoughts into how do we help our country and you know, to create this middle layer of so-called trained technicians, because it's not just either college grads or high degree or the high school degree. There's the middle layer. There's a lot of opportunities. I mean, I'm using my nerdy industry, you know, for high tech, but many examples for all industries. If we could help our country, help our government to create the middle layer and train the technicians, I think there are many, many jobs can be created.
Hear, hear. We have a lot of workforce people in the room. So let's take this opportunity to thank Weili Dai.
Thank you, thank you.
So I'd like to bring Steve Mincy back up, and we're going to start our award presentation.
Well, that's great. Very inspiring. I heard those 3 words, commitment, responsibility, and hard work. And boy, doesn't that just sum it up, if we could just do that in everything we tackle in life. So thank you. Well, ready for some awards? We're here, and yes, this is the Awards of Excellence, and obviously we're going to be recognizing these companies here in San Mateo County that are developing and providing innovative products and services. And let's see, let's get to the next slide. And these are the great companies that we're going to be talking about in a few moments. And the categories that we have for these are aspiring, technology, green, fastest growing, biotech and healthcare, and social media and entertainment. Innovators in each of those categories. And, you know, naturally, because we're here to celebrate their accomplishments and the people that, you know, contributed to their success, but even, let's get all this together, but even more than that, you know, it's so great to put a face to the statistics. And we always hear about venture capital investment here in San Mateo County, or we hear about the number of patents that are taken out here. But today is about meeting a few of these successful companies and getting firsthand knowledge of the great work that's being done. So let's get started. Our aspiring innovator is Storm 8, and Perry Tam, founder and CEO, is here to accept the award for Storm 8. So Perry, we're going to ask that you tell us a little bit about your company and introduce yourself, and so we can learn and put a face to Storm 8.
No problem.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Perry Tam. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Storm 8. We're very excited to be here today and receiving this award. First of all, I would like to thank SAMCEDA for awarding Storm 8 with the Aspiring Innovator Award. I would also like to thank all the employees at Storm 8 for bringing all the success that we have created so far at Storm 8. The mission at Storm 8 is very simple. Our mission is to bring the best social gaming experience to the billions of mobile users in the world. We have been around about 3 years. In the last 3 years, we have created 25 titles on iPhone and Android. Accumulatively, we have gathered more than 200 million downloads across 60 million devices. And last year, June 2011, we have announced in one single day, we are able to drive more than $1 million in revenue purely by sales of virtual goods within our games. With all those accomplishments and success, we still think that this is just the beginning for mobile social games. We have been in San Mateo County since day one. About 3 years ago, we started with a couple of people in the living room of my apartment down here in Belmont. Today, 3 years later, we have more than 110 employees in a really nice office in the office park in Bridge Parkway, down the other way. So we would continue to invest in San Mateo County, and we would continue to make great games to the mobile users around the world. And here are some of the icons and titles that we have created in the past 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Perry. So our next company is our technology innovator, and this one goes to Jelli, and I welcome Jetin Parekh, co-founder and chief technology officer, to the stage.
Excellent. How do I move forward here? Right here? All right, great. My name is Jetin Parekh. I am the co-founder and CTO of Jelli. Most of you probably haven't heard about us yet. We're one of probably the smaller companies here. We have 15 people today, but are planning a lot of growth over the next year. Jelli is a consumer-focused product. We actually have a website, an iPhone application, and an Android application that allows users to take over the airwaves, the old school FM airwaves, in real time. So in addition to the FM airwaves, we also work on mobile as well as the web. We founded the company in 2008. Both my co-founder and I left very large companies right when the economy was starting to melt down. It's actually October 2008. I remember my wife yelling at me that night. And I'll never forget that. So we started off on just building a platform from scratch. It was just a handful of us, and we found, after doing a lot of research in San Francisco and Palo Alto, where I had a previous group that I started up, we found San Mateo, just this hidden gem. We're right in downtown San Mateo on 4th and El Camino, and have been able to attract a lot of good talent. So both from San Francisco, most of our company actually is in San Mateo County, so it's great. This award was really a big deal for us. We've got a lot of great accolades because we're transforming traditional media, so we get covered a lot by traditional media. But it was fantastic for the team, where they live and work, to actually get recognized by the community, and we thought that was just fantastic. Something else that was really cool is this is one of the few awards we've won where we didn't have to apply for anything. We just found out on Twitter that we won, so it was very cool. And it really is an honor because there was a lot of fantastic companies right in our area, a lot of small companies with less than 15, 20 people, and we get to have lunch and coffee with these guys regularly, and we just realize everyone's working on really cool stuff. So I think there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff coming out of this area. So I talked a little bit about our website. I'll do a little self-promotion here. If you get a chance, download either our iPhone or our Android application. We can always use more ratings and more downloads. We are currently, across the United States, we are on 20 different radio stations. So if you happen to be in one of our markets, you can actually take over the airwaves just using your mobile device, which is very fun. You can hear, you can just tune into the old school radio and actually hear your rockets getting read out, your name on the airwaves, and you get to choose the music in real time. And this is the first time this has been done where a cloud-based web platform actually can take over the old school airwaves in real time. So we're in 18 different markets on 20 different stations, and we expect to see a lot of growth this year.
So our next awardee is for green innovation and sustainability. So it is Trilliant, and here to accept the award is Andrew White, Chairman and CEO of Trilliant.
Well, thank you very much to SAMCEDA for this very prestigious award. And as I was listening to the keynote speech and Weili, I was very interested in some of the words they were using and some of the technologies that we're in. So I'm pleased to say that we're a wireless communications technology provider using broadband technology in the wireless spectrum. And right before I came here today, I was visited by the largest utility in the world, who's called State Grid from China, who are looking to be our future customer. So it's great to be here today. We're headquartered just 2 blocks away from here. We've got investors from all over the world, large conglomerates, as you can see from this slide. But 2 of our largest investors are actually from here in Silicon Valley, one in San Bruno and one in Menlo Park. So we're a true local company. We have a tremendous amount of global reach with our technologies. So what we do today, we actually provide a smart grid platform for utilities, consumers, and also for internet. We use a combination of both private wireless network technology and public wireless technologies. And we have customers and offices throughout the world, here in North America, in the United States, and in Canada. We've just won 2 recent bids in South America, opened up operations in Europe, and we're just getting started in Asia right now with a recent win. So we're really happy to be here. We just have about 200 employees right now. It's a great place to be. We have wonderful technology, great people, and thank you once again for this great award. Thank you.
And you know, the great thing about this is, you know, we go from a company that's 15 people and in consumers' hands. You know, it's right there. And then there's a company that's this size doing wonderful stuff with green technology that's completely behind the scenes working with these utilities. And so right here in our county, we have such a diversity of companies and the way they interact with us. Well, our fastest growing innovator is Marketo. And I probably just pronounced that wrong, but is it Marketo? It's Marketo. And here to accept the award is Lori Bush Shepard, VP of Corporate Communications.
Congratulations, welcome. Hi, thank you very much, and yes, it is Marketo. We're located just down the road in San Mateo, and it's a real honor for us to be nominated as the fastest growing company in such an incredible community in this county full of innovators and full of excellence. The innovation behind Marketo is founded on one fundamental concept, which is that the relationship between buyers and sellers is changed forever. If you look at your car buying experience over the last 20 years, it's shifted from all of the power being on the side of the seller to really all the power being on the side of the buyer. With the rise of social media and with the rise of the ability to do web research, the buyer really is in control of the entire process. And that causes each of us, as someone trying to reach out to our buyers, to find a new way to engage with them. So what Marketo has done with its technologies, and we call it revenue performance management, is we deliver on 3 fundamental things. One is to help companies create new ways to grow the number of leads and opportunities, create dialogues with their customers. And then by scoring and really monitoring and nurturing those leads, improving sales productivity by giving the salespeople a very prioritized way of looking at the incoming leads so that they can go after the ones most likely to close, so you can grow revenue faster. And then third, to be able to sit on top of that some analytics so that you can tell what's actually working of the sorts of activities that you're doing so that you can do more of those, less of the things that don't work, so that you can grow your revenues faster. What's great is we don't say that we eat our own dog food, we say we drink our own champagne, but we use our own stuff, and that's helped fuel our own growth. So we did a survey of our customers, and this is really pretty interesting, about 250 of our customers, and I won't read through all the statistics, but you can see by using revenue performance management, they've been able to drive dramatic improvements in their own ability to increase leads, to close more deals, to shorten their sales cycles, and that's given us an average, or actually up to, depending upon the size of the organization, of a 40% increase in revenue. So it's really pretty impressive. The nice thing is we've been able to use our own stuff, and so our own growth has been, we're really humbled and dazzled by the way that our trajectory has taken off. From 2008 to 2010, Marketo has grown 1,486%, and as you all know, this wasn't a very friendly economic climate to be in. And so we've seen, we've grown, actually I joined the company about a year ago, and we went from 1,000 companies as customers then to about 1,700 now, or a little over, and 130% growth year over year. We've got blue chip companies like Kimberly-Clark, all the way down to the fastest growing small companies, and we've got a couple of customers here as well, so we're really excited about that. But all in all, it's really about helping all of us raise our power within the economy, helping our companies grow revenues faster, and so we're really excited to accept this award today. Thank you.
Okay, our next award winner is in the field of biotechnology and healthcare, and it's Achaogen, and Ileana Armstrong, the Director of Development and Microbiology, is here to tell us a little bit about the company and accept the award.
Hello, it's truly an honor to be here and accept this award on behalf of Achaogen. We've actually been in San Mateo County since 2004, although we briefly dallied with the idea of moving to San Francisco, but I can tell you that those of us who also live in San Mateo County, myself included, were not in favor of that move at all, so I'm glad that we stayed. So our mission, a little different from others you've heard today, is to discover and develop life-saving antibiotics. And we've been very fortunate that our investors and also our partners in the federal government have seen fit to support this mission with over $250 million raised to date. Now, while you may not have heard of Achaogen before, our leadership team are actually veterans of several San Mateo County companies that you may be more familiar with, such as Genentech. And while these companies and others in this room are focused on technology that was unheard of a decade ago, we are actually focusing on something that was considered a solved problem in the last century. Infectious disease specialists once thought that they had worked themselves out of a job with the advent of safe and effective antibiotics such as Cipro, gentamicin, and imipenem, shown here. However, the bacteria fought back, and MRSA, that you may be familiar with, became the first superbug, but followed closely behind by these guys, E. coli and Klebsiella pneumoniae. Now, the journal Clinical Infectious Diseases is not one that's typically given to hyperbole, so you can tell by the nature of this quote that is from an article in that journal just how serious this problem is. It is a rarity for a physician in the developed world to have a patient die of an overwhelming infection for which there are no therapeutic options. These cases are the harbinger of the future. Now, on a more optimistic note, I can tell you I'm excited that plasmamycin, which is our lead clinical compound, does have activity against these serious organisms, and we've just completed enrollment in our first phase 2 clinical trial. So we really hope to be able to be defeating this next generation of superbugs. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, with that quote, let's rush that product to market, if you would, please. Well, lastly, we have our social media and entertainment innovator, and it is RockYou. And Lisa Marino, the CEO, is here to accept the award and tell us a little bit about the company.
Hi, everyone. Oops. There we go. First of all, thank you so much for voting for us and helping us win this award. Really appreciate it. I want to also thank my team who works very tirelessly to make sure that we get out new product, we continually make new games that entertain our millions of daily active users, and we also do a lot on the advertising side in an effort to really ramp up dual monetization in a media industry that doesn't quite know it's a media business yet. And so, with that, thank you to everybody. On a personal note, I was born and raised in Burlingame, product of the public school system. While I was a recipient of very good education, I think we've got a lot of work to do there now. That's one of my personal passions when we're done with RockYou. In addition, I went to Stanford Business School, and I've been in technology in the Valley for almost 20 years. And so, this is a place that I'm passionate about. I love innovation. I love the spirit of the Valley. and this is home for me. And so winning this award for me personally is great, but also for the company as well. And just to quickly introduce RockU in a little bit more detail, we've been in social media since 2005. That's when we were founded. The founders, Lance and Jaw, were started in their living room in East Palo Alto, so San Mateo County still. Our first office was in San Mateo. This company's been born and raised in the Bay Area as well. Our offices currently are in Redwood City, and so we've employed, hundreds of people throughout the last 6 or 7 years we've been around. One of the things I'm most proud of as a company is, our ability to attract top talent, bring them to the Bay Area, recruit from the best schools around here as well, and, keep creating, again, innovative and fun experiences for our players in our games and in our content in general. So, that's a little overview on RockU. Let's see. I think we've talked about most of this. Yeah. Sorry, our PR agency didn't actually send me the deck before they gave it to you guys. But I've done enough of this so that I can wing it, so no problem. A couple of you guys might know of our titles. Zoo World is our biggest. We just launched a new game in Bingo by Rising. That's something that is very exciting for us as well. It is an early foray into rewards-based gaming, so you can enter a sweepstakes by playing bingo and win real money. That's been going incredibly well for us. We're growing that game rapidly, and again, it's something we're excited and proud about. You've probably heard a lot about Zynga and a couple of other gaming companies really getting involved in this space. As the laws change in this company around sweepstakes-driven gaming as well as potentially online gambling as well, we think there's a great opportunity, and it's something we're really looking forward to. In terms of our customers, not only do we have 1 million daily active users in our games, we also work very aggressively with advertisers. And so companies like HP, right? Local company, one of our big advertisers that's run many campaigns with us. We've done a lot with the automotive sector. We've done a lot with Hollywood and entertainment. And so just in general, we are pushing the envelope on the media side and working with different types of groups and organizations to really get social media to be an effective avenue, not only for our players, but also to bring true performance, relevance, and engagement to the advertising community as well, so that they can reach a very interesting demo in the 40-year-old mom that looks just like me. With that, thank you very much, and appreciate the award.
Well, what great companies we've just been introduced to, and it really does put a face on so many of the statistics. And if we go to the next slide, celebrating the future but honoring the past, what this really speaks to is that so much of what we're hearing today is based on visionary people that have been around for years, that are active today, but possibly have set the stage for us in the past. So this isn't just technology springboarding on technology. Somebody, one company invents this, so another company extends that and invents the next thing. I think that this is oftentimes about the environment here. It is about San Mateo County being an incubator for these types of companies. It's really San Mateo County setting the stage, if you will, and being a place where bright, informed, entrepreneurial people want to live and work, and that's what keeps people here and keeps this vibrancy moving forward. And so our next award will recognize the individuals and today one individual, but over the years it has recognized individuals that have contributed to this foundation. And that foundation is based not only on the physical, but also the social and economic foundation that we all build upon with our companies. So please welcome Scott Bohannon to the stage for the next award.
Good afternoon. It's nice to be back again. The David D. Bohannon Memorial Award is dedicated to the memory of my granddad, David D. Bohannon, founder and past president of SAMCEDA. Like him, each recipient has demonstrated significant leadership and success in building the local economy and contributing to the quality of life in San Mateo through community service and philanthropy. And this year's recipient of the David D. Bohannon Award is Ruth Peterson. Sustainable San Mateo County. Ruth is the owner and manager of Beauvais Professional Center, a business that she started in 1981. The business is an executive suite designed primarily for attorneys and other professionals. She has been involved with Sustainable San Mateo County for over a decade and was chair of the business task force prior to becoming chair of the steering committee. She led the effort for Sustainable San Mateo County to become a standalone nonprofit in 2002, serving as chair of the board until taking on her current role as chair emeritus. One cannot think of Sustainable San Mateo County without thinking of Ruth Peterson and her tireless efforts in making it the successful organization it is today. She has been recognized on many occasions for her community involvement, which also included 6 years on the board of Shelter Network. In 2002, she was inducted into the San Mateo County Women's Hall of Fame. Ruth attended the University of Southern California for 3 years, moved to San Francisco, and graduated from San Francisco State with a secondary teaching major. While classroom teaching was not on the cards, she discovered her passion and affinity for business, for the business world, and instead simply taught by her own example. Please join me in congratulating Ruth Peterson as the 2012 David E. Bohannon Memorial Award of Excellence recipient. And Dan Peterson, her son, is here on her behalf to accept the award.
Picture up. Thank you. Joining me is Adrienne Etherton, who's the Executive Director of Sustainable San Mateo County. I'm honored to receive this award from my mom, or to be here to represent for her. And she prepared a couple of words for me to read to you. She's at home, not feeling too well, but she's getting much better. So it is very gratifying to receive this award. SAMCEDA and Sustainable San Mateo County have enjoyed a positive relationship over the years in a mutual attempt to bring sustainability to businesses of all size here in San Mateo County. My regret is not being able to be here with you today. Thank you so much for this honor. Thank you.
Well, that's well deserved for Ruth Peterson. I think anybody who has been here in the county and has interacted with Sustainable San Mateo County knows her dedication to that organization. So let's have one more round of applause for all of our award winners today. And again, a round of applause for Congresswoman Eshoo. And Weili. And based on the number of women that have been up here and accepting awards and have companies, I think we really are setting the trend for the country. Although I did hear a statistic recently that said that less than 10% of patents in the United States are taken out by women. And so we still have a long way to go. It's good to shine a light on that ability. So before we wrap up, on the next slide here, you can see a couple of upcoming events that we have. So if you could get out your smartphones and plug these dates right into them. Our next meeting is the SAMCEDA annual meeting on June 4th at the Sofitel. And then we have the 45th annual Benefit Golf Invitational on August 27th at Peninsula Golf and Country Club. So if you're not yet a member of SAMCEDA, here's the second plug of the day. I know Roseanne made one earlier. You need to join this organization. You know, it's a little like public radio. You know, we all benefit from the great work that SAMCEDA is doing in championing the quality of the business environment here in San Mateo County. And, you know, they do a lot of outreach to inform businesses about the issues and the things that are going on. And we really would welcome having your support and your participation in this effort. So, before I let you go for the afternoon, how about a last thank you and round of applause for Roseanne Faust and the SAMCEDA staff member. I was going to say the SAMCEDA staff member, Christine Madrigal, who, between the two of them, put on this event, and it's really wonderful. So good job, you two. So with that, I hope to see all of you at the annual meeting in about 2 or 3 months. See you then.